All right, young kids, let me get this straight and say this one more time. As someone who fought for freedom and equality for the LGBT community, 70s and 80s, I will tell you right now, you are setting back 40 years of progress. Well, not the LGBT shouldn't feel that they are. They're having all the success they made over the last 40 years reversed by Q plus the alphabet. Now, I have been in a bathroom with a transgender man and, correction, transgender woman. And she was a friend of mine. And let's just say the only reason she was allowed in my bathroom was because she had gone through total transition, meaning her body had been made into a female. Now, whether she could have children, whether she could even have sex like a woman, was irrelevant. She had the business. She had to pee through a woman's urethra. She had to have sex through a woman's organs. Her organs were no different than mine and no threat to me. So I didn't care. It didn't bother me in the least. I thought of her as a woman after, but only after, she had gone through transgender surgery. You cannot call yourself transsexual and be transgender at the same time. Not at all. As it was explained to me by the LGBT when I was a young girl, about 11 years old. A transsexual is someone who can dress as either a man or a woman, but still identify as their own sex. No issues, huh? Surprise, surprise. So, now we have tackled transgenderism. You have to go through complete gender reassignment evaluations and surgery before you can be considered transgender. Transsexual is someone who likes to dress in the other person's other sex's attire as well as their own. And I don't care about that either. You want to dress like a woman? As long as it's not interfering with you doing your job and it isn't causing you to be rude and ignorant or bigotry towards others, I have no problem with it. If you're gay, let me put this message out to you, because I do have gay family members, and I want this made clear. I have family and friends who are gay, and their right to adopt a child is now at risk because of Q+. They have to go through 2 years of background checks and 2 years of mental evaluations just to be cleared to apply to adopt. That does not guarantee they're going to get a child. And what do we see on our social media? 2 men adopt 2 boys and sexually assault them. That can't happen. You are setting back 40 years of protests and pleading with the government to give people of different sexual orientation freedom to be who they are. But when you got to go to work, you put on your job uniform and you dress and behave like you're representing your job. You cannot go in there looking like a sunshine parade that has had pink lemonade spilled all over it. Nobody wants to have you bring them a drink much less, because they know you're going to be insulted. That's all that attire says about you, is I'm arrogant, I'm entitled, and the world has just done me wrong. Even though I was doing bad things, they had no right to judge me. I don't want to see that kind no more. You belong in jail or a mental hospital. Simple as that. Now, we have tackled both heterosexual, homosexual, and transsexual, and transgender. Do you now understand? And yes, no one claiming to be a woman without going through and have completed reassignment surgery, you're not a woman. There are two genders. And in order to become a woman, you have to change yours physically. And doctors have been willing to do that for men and women for decades. Only thing is, it's considered cosmetic because it's not necessary for your survival. And it should be seen that way. Both my friends paid for their own operations. They paid for their own mental evaluations. Last but not least, they paid with their lives. Both have committed suicide because they missed their manhood because it was two men. Look, trying to become Storm from X-Men is impossible. It's a fantasy. But when you're allowed to take that fantasy into the realms of your brain being convinced it can be a reality, you become delusional. And then you become desperate to become what you cannot. And changing their bodies did not change their brains. The hormones affected their brains, caused severe destabilization, emotional. Listen, all women who have ever been on a hormone treatment know the effects of being put on estrogen. And it's got to be twice as bad when it's a man taking it. But their families, only one of them, their family, rejected them. And it was only because they're his sons. They just could not accept that their father wanted to be a female, wanted to be their mother. And it hurt him too much. It felt like he was rejecting them to become something he was not. And so, yeah, he lost his boys. His ex-wife would keep, him informed of everything, school, grades, everything he needed to know as a parent. But his sons refused to have anything to do with him, even after he died. And so few people went to his funeral because he created conflict everywhere he went, because emotionally, from the shock his body was going through from the surgery, the hormones that he was going to be on for life, the drugs he was going to be on so his body did not reject the alterations, destroyed his life. Their families still love them. I did. Right up until and well after they were gone. Please, woke. Stop the Q+. Because you're destroying your own liberty that you've already earned because of LGBT and American citizens who stood with them and said it was okay to be different. It was okay to feel comfortable. When you weren't at work, be you, boo. When you're at work, be professional. On your free time, be you. But don't be disruptive to other people who are not dressed like you. Because for some of us, that's not our thing. I wore jeans and a t-shirt, lived in that most of my life. And I can remember hippies mocking me. Oh, look at you, you got so much skin covered. Why are you ashamed of your beautiful body? Because I'm 10 years old, maybe. And nobody should be looking at my beautiful body except my doctor and me. That's why. I had no understanding of the world at that time. And I do not want to see LGBT destroyed. But because of DEI and woke, I really am afraid it will be. And all those years, all those marches, all those petitions, all the doors we knocked on, all the people we talked to. Do you know how hard it is for a man dressed like a woman to get people to walk up and sign your petition? Unless there's a real woman standing next to you. It's almost impossible. But I watched the Q Plus say, you're not a woman. Well, why are you so desperate to be one? That's what I want to know. What's so great about it? Your body ages faster than any male's. Your body systems begin to break down after a lot of kids, or just a few, like in my case. And so what's so great about it? I had to fight with my mom. We literally petition after petition just so the law did it no longer said that my mother and my sister and I were his property. That we had legal rights as humans. I don't want to go back to that, but I thought I was going to have to. At 60 years old, I shouldn't have to be fighting for equal rights. And the first woman I hear screaming, I want equal pay. What planet are you on? If you got the skills, you get equal pay. I worked in offices with men, and I got equal pay. And in a few cases, I got paid more. Why? I was more efficient at my job. I took it personally to be a good representative. So my job was not only shown I appreciated it, it appreciated me. So maybe I'll might want to get back to that and stop this pedophile ring that is desperately trying to legalize itself. And it can't. It cannot. I have had my insides ripped apart by grown men. And I got a brother serving in prison for 5,000 years for fondling a child. And if anybody would ask me, should he be allowed out? No. He fought and struggled against that his whole life. No, I don't think he should be. But at the same time, I talk to my brother regularly. I mean, through, communications the prison allows. But he knows I still love him. He knows how I feel about what he did. And he still does not accept that that's what he was arrested for. But he's got no chance of ever getting out. So I don't have to worry about any children being around him. My father is gone. And he faced the shame of what he did to his kids on the stand, pleading for the judge to show my brother some leniency. Because my father took direct responsibility. And I never thought I'd see that. You got a lot to learn, guys, and it's okay. I know what it's like to be consumed with possibilities. And some possibilities are definitely meant to be achieved, like the success LGBT had achieved, and now it's being erased. America, before we can open our borders to anyone else, we, the people, need to deal with it. We need to deal with oppressing each other and allowing pedophiles access to our children. Do I think that their sentences should be much greater? Yeah, I do. In almost half the states, it's very lenient. And I'm sick of that. That's why they keep going and raping and now murdering children, because they're afraid, somebody's going to find out it was them. So they kill the child, kill the witness. And that's got to stop. But that's going to take a community from heterosexual to LGBT to secure the safety of our children, to secure rights that are already in place in some states. When my son told me he had to go to, I believe it was Ohio, to get married to his partner, I was so proud of him. I wish I could have been there to see it. I was so proud of it. I love my son. And protecting him has always been a lifelong dream for me. And now I got to protect his rights because of Q plus the alphabet and woke. Alright, I know it's a long one, but I had to get it off my chest. American Granny out.